And then I told her, like, don't say the F word, by the way. And she goes, why? It's literally just a word. And I said, you think you can say the N word too? And then she goes, yeah, it's just a word. Everyone, I really need your help. I need your unbiased opinion on whether or not this is grandma vintage aesthetic or please burn that and throw it out. That did not deserve to come into 2021. Be honest, okay? Like, do we like the pattern?
This is disgusting.
But hello friends, my name is Frida Kahlo today, and we're gonna be roasting and reacting to some homophobic comments in my DMs because I have nothing better to do with my life. And what better way to celebrate the end of Pride Month and Independence Day than to talk about the injustice and discrimination other groups get in this country. To clarify, I know I'm very lucky to live in this country, okay? Let's not get that twisted. But I'm also not the kind to shoot fireworks out my ass and say, yay, America. A couple months ago, YouTube, the Instagram account themselves, posted a picture of me on their feed, and it was so unprecedented. I did not expect it. They didn't reach out to me asking, but either way, like, I love the exposure. Problem is though, while we're on this side of YouTube and it's all like, kumbaya, free the gay, you know, love everyone. That's not the reality for most of YouTube. I would say whenever a video that is sort of LGBT related ends up on trending, the dislikes start to go up because you see the other side of YouTube. Over 50% of YouTube's audience is under 18 and they're actually, like, I would say under 13 years old at this point. So because I ended up on the YouTube page, there was a lot of comments, you would say, that were saying like, ew, vomit emoji, clown face, all because they saw a dude wearing makeup, and people would just say, why is he trying to act like a girl? Why is he dressing like a woman? And let me just clear it up. I'm Frederick. I go by he, him, but also, like, call me anything, I don't care. Call me a girl all you want, because that to me is a compliment. In my opinion, women will always be one step ahead of men. But aside from trying to boost my ego even more, these comments don't help the community because it does harm them. Not everyone is gonna be able to take an insult and somehow turn into a compliment like me, or just brush off hate comments, because I've dealt with that, okay? I've been on YouTube for over 5 years. So being the bitch that I am, I confronted some of them. I started this whole thread. Basically, I would just click people's profiles, send a DM that says, hi, like, I'm doing a series on TikTok and YouTube about homophobic people and I wanted your input. And I DM'd that to over 20 people, so here are their responses. I'm gonna clarify, half of them didn't even respond. So we don't have 20 people to talk about today, but I wanted to do this because I know a lot of people are prone to attacking others, like, fuck you for saying that, how dare you come from my favorite creator. While I appreciate that, I don't think reacting with negativity and coming for people's appearance or just being aggressive is the best way, because then we stoop down to their level. I actually tried to be genuine and relaxed when I talk to them, because you'll soon find out that they actually learn and change their mind once they realize, like, I'm a normal person too. Either way, we're gonna get started with the worst one because I don't want to bore you all. Let's just get the best one out of the way. This person commented on my Pride series, so they're like, what the fuck is this shit? I deleted the comment already, but what I could tell is they weren't really excited about the idea of different sexualities and different varieties of our expression. Some people are like, it's only LGBT, you know, not, what is all of these other ones? And to that I say, like, who cares? Does it affect you? Like, let them live their life. I really don't care what you label yourself as long as it makes you happy. You don't even have to label yourself if you don't want to. But I saw this as this person doesn't really care for the other aspects of it. Obviously, I'm not gonna show anyone's usernames because there's no point in trying to attack people. This person is a child, okay? They're like literally 12 years old, so I don't expect much from them. But they still follow me, and we both follow Michelle Obama, so you'll see what happens. The first thing I said was, consider being less of an asshole in the comments, which is passive aggressive. But prior to that, we already had an argument on my actual comment section. So I was trying to be like, hey, why'd you say that? Like, let's not be offensive in the comments. It's Pride Month. And she's like, no, I don't care. And then she started attacking other people, and that's when I deleted her comment. They reply with, I'm not though, and then we'll bring up the proof. She said, what the fuck is this shit? And then some other people were like, you're one to talk with that profile picture. And that's where I say, please don't come for someone's appearance. Obviously, people who do this are ugly, but inside, you can say whatever you want about someone's personality and way of believing, but never come for their actual physical appearance because you don't know how they feel about that. And that's also like the lowest thing you could do, in my opinion. We can do better than that. So I said, as someone who follows me, I really expected better. And then she goes, you self-centered AF, which like, okay, true. We know that. I reply with, I have higher expectations, you're just mean. And she goes, it's not my fault, Pride Month is pointless. And I was like, why do you follow, like, why do they follow me? What is this? Do you have any idea what Pride Month is supposed to be about, the history behind it, which I already talked about in my last video? What does it mean for someone like me who you follow, or do you just not care? How come it's no months to honor the people that die in war? I'm not gonna go. If you want to know why, I've already explained it before. Gays didn't do nothing to earn I don't know what that means, so sorry to tell you facts, but it's true. And I tell her, like, you realize veterans do have a month and a national holiday, in fact several days, recognized by the government. And she goes, what companies change their profile picture and sell shirts to honor veterans? Please don't change the subject. Like, we know that Pride Month has turned into a symptom of capitalism, but that's not what we wanted. And I don't think veterans would like that either. Are you a veteran? Do you actually have people in your family that are veterans? Do you care about them? Do you actively do it? If you truly care about veterans and improving the awareness of Veterans Month, then do that instead of taking your time to talk to gay people and belittle them for Pride Month. So then I told her, like, June 26th is historical because gay marriage was legalized, and she's like, that's not a historical day, that's just getting another right to do something, which is true. They go, how come gays want to be treated the same but also want to be treated with special holidays and shit? It's kind of stupid to me. And I say to that, can we FaceTime? Because I actually want a conversation, and I'm tired of texting at this point. And I told her, you sound very ignorant, I'd rather educate you, this isn't something to just joke and laugh off. I'm not ignorant, I'm just saying the truth. And I just tell her, do you even know what happened to gay people? Like, when does the government oppress the military? And then she says, gays do weird shit like go in the streets and yell straight, so I don't know why that deserves a month more than veterans who die. And then I tell her, like, you're not LGBT or an ally, you don't get to say that, nor do you get it, and you were never bullied for your sexuality. And she goes, everyone gets bullied, y'all just think it's you. And then I told her, no, let's not do that, don't put words in my mouth. I never said no one gets bullied. I said veterans don't get oppressed for being veterans. Gay people get oppressed for being gay, something they can't change. She goes, I deserve a Pride Month for me because I get bullied with my looks then, I guess. And I said, no, because you're a mean girl. And that is a direct reference to this meme that
You're a mean girl. Girl, you're a joke.
y'all know. I don't think she did. And she goes, but I'm not self-centered, so I'm not gonna force one on people. And if anyone thinks that like gay people are forcing this on them, heterosexuality has been forced in media forever. So maybe just realize that you're not comfortable with another sexuality and move on instead of accusing them of shoving it down your throats. And I was like, who's forcing it onto you? It's not about you, girl, can we call? I treat everyone equal and don't give no one extra privilege until you deserve it. And I tell her, like, are you too scared to call if you're such a know-it-all? And I said, it shouldn't be a privilege to marry. She replies with, fuck you, don't say that to me. And this is where I'm like, okay, it's clear that this person is just trying to get a reaction from me, and they did. You're probably thinking, Frederick, you're wasting your time. No, because I had nothing better to do. And this is also for content. But I can tell you that this person is insecure. Only insecure people come for other people's looks, and they take the time to get a reaction from them just because they want validation in their life. People who are truly confident don't bother coming for other people's looks. And I said, girl, you called me self-centered AF and commented on my page. Take what you throw or don't comment. Then I say, you're not even listening to me. You're 13. I'm almost 20. Do you think you know everything? You didn't even know veterans had a month dedicated to them. And she goes, just because you can marry now doesn't mean you deserve a whole month. It's just annoying. And I said, it's not about marriage. It's about having others accept us. Are you a minority? Tell me. Because I always try to say, use an analogy to help people understand. She says, I'm Mexican, I don't care. And then this is the point where I send voice memos, and I basically just tell her the whole point of Pride Month, how it began, and why you can't compare Veterans Day / veterans in general to gay people, because that doesn't make any sense. And I was telling her the point of the movements, and she goes, those are movements, not a whole month. LGBT can have movements to raise awareness, but dedicating a whole month is different. And I told her, are you gonna say the same thing for Black History Month, like AAPI month? I'm sure y'all can read too while I'm scrolling. She goes, I saw some gays saying they earned their flag on TikTok, and people dying isn't as important because they aren't here to celebrate their day, and gays deserve it more because they survived. That's stupid to me. And to that I said, I agree, that is stupid how people think they earn their flag on TikTok. But honestly, let's think about this. If she's 13 and all she has seen are people who only show off their sexuality and talk down to others, which is basically the radical side of the community, they're gonna think that that's the actual community and generalize all of us, which is why that's harmful for people like those to even have a platform and for those sides of people to be pushed, because that's not what the majority of gay people want. And if you think you deserve your flag more because you survived, like, get off my channel, rethink your life. And then she goes, yeah, some black people don't like Black History Month either. They say it takes away from independence and it makes them seem lesser by implying that there's a reason we should focus so much attention on them. And I'm not gonna speak for that. I don't really know that stuff. Obviously in every community, you're gonna have another part of it that disagrees. I think people already feel like it's okay to be gay. Gays act like they have it so hard when literally less than 5% of the population don't accept them. How did you get that conclusion? How do you think that? Is your bubble so different from mine that you've actually never witnessed gay people be discriminated against on the news, online? Did Pulse nightclub like fly over her head? I mean, she probably was like 8 at the time. I don't know. Either way, that just shows like there are very different people out there who live in completely different communities. So what they're exposed to is going to influence what they think of us. And I just try to tell her, like, it's definitely not 5%. It's at least over 50. And then she says, all I see is nothing but gay support. I don't see nobody trying to kill gays and all that shit. I'm not going to explain why she's wrong, you know. I live in Texas. All I see is gays at Six Flags and everywhere. It's almost no straight people or normal looking people, which if you associate not looking normal, which what does that even mean, as part of the community, that just shows you don't like the community actually, and you're not actually an ally. People will literally tell me, you can be gay, but don't be an F word, which is this.
Oh, what you said? Queen.
Gay people tell me I'm too gay for wearing makeup and dressing at least a little feminine. Worry about your own wardrobe before you come for mine. And I just said, girl, just admit you're homophobic and shut up. I can't with you. You're uneducated. And she says, fuck you to me. I send a kissy face. She says, fuck you, bitch. And I just thought, how can you get to this person? I go, let me know what college you go to. I'll send these to them. I'm not gonna send it to them. I don't care enough to. But the fact that she has the audacity to reply with, good, I will, middle finger, is all I need to know about this person. And this is when I'm trying to tell her, like, have you ever been bullied for simply being Mexican? And she goes, a boy called me burrito, but I don't mean to cry about it because it doesn't mean the world is over. If a boy calls someone the F word, then all of a sudden the world is ending. And I tried to explain to her how stupid she sounds by going, yes, but I've never seen a Mexican get hate crimed, therefore Mexicans don't get hate. And then she goes, Trump building a wall is overkill and so is Pride Month. And I was like, I don't think building the wall is overkill. I don't know why Mexicans are so mad, because that's what she comes across as. She doesn't get it, so I'm trying to imitate that. No one dare twist those words. And I tell her, what you witness every day isn't factual, it's just your own experience, it's not history. And she says, I don't think gay month is that important because it just becomes more of a month to buy rainbow Mickey Mouse shirts and then a month to honor gays. She has a point there. It is starting to turn into just shopping and promoting merch, which I don't think that should be the whole point. And then I told her, like, don't say the F word, by the way. And she goes, why? It's literally just a word. And I said, you think you can say the N word too? And then she goes, yeah, it's just a word. So this is where I am leaving the conversation. I said, there's no hope, because if someone who is 13 years old can already assume that it's okay to say those words, they have a lot to learn. The way they grew up is completely different from mine, and I don't have the time to spare this. This is about 30 minutes into the conversation. I no longer have the energy, and I don't think I need to explain why saying the N-word is wrong, but if you want to know, I'll link some videos by T Noir because she's amazing. She does say the N-word actually, but I can't show you that on here. There's like 10 more middle fingers I get, and then she says, I'm not scared, like, fuck you. And then I just called her scaredy cat and left the conversation. So she's like, I mean, you can see, you can read it. And then I replied 2 days later, and then I said, like, I don't have time for this. And then she sent something on Wednesday. Mind you, the initial conversation was on June 14th. She sent this last week, around July 1st. She also did send another thing, but she deleted it because I was checking her messages being like, I wonder why she keeps commenting, because I do check my DMs. And she says something along the lines of, haha, you're just too scared to respond, you pussy, and then deleted that comment after. And then sent this, probably just canceled themselves. I don't know what it is, I don't care to, I don't want to get a virus from her. So that's number one. What do we think? I know I was way too aggressive on a 13-year-old. I'll admit that. Did I waste my time? Probably. Did I help her learn anything? I don't know. Probably not. Was it entertaining to go through it again? Hell yeah, so I'm fine with that. I am gonna send this video to her, so if y'all have any constructive criticism, let's keep it constructive, please, for her to read in the comments, go ahead and say something to Miss Miss Girl. Now that the worst is out of the way, we're gonna move on to some success stories. If you follow my Twitter, you know that I've tweeted some of these screenshots before. I wanna talk about this first one, which was a TikTok I did. And I know some people are like, you know, don't post their name, like they're gonna get hate, you have a platform. I didn't care at that time because they were clearly just being mean in the comment section to be mean. But after they did respond to me, and here's what they had to say, which is why I'm telling you right now, don't attack this person. So they said, all right, let's talk. Yes, it was mean to me to call someone gay, but I was just being a dumbass. Plus, I thought someone as popular as you would not even notice my comment, but wow, I guess you did. Sorry I offended you, but I'm just some dumb kid on the internet who doesn't know any better. And please, if you send your fans to criticize someone, at least tell them to be nice, because those are the better comments that actually help and make sense. This comment doesn't help. I did DM this person to not say that, and they said they're the physical embodiment of a gas station, and they just came for their appearance, which you're no better than anyone else then. You're just a bully too. And I know I can't control everyone who is part of our community, but the people who do this kind of stuff, like come for their appearance and just shame them, say the extreme stuff that nobody should deserve, like, you know, you don't deserve to live, your family hates you. I don't consider them part of this community. But this other person said, jokes are part of humor and humor is subjective. Offending someone is also not a part of humor. No, I'm not homophobic. I follow LGBT people. I even have a gay cousin. I'm not gonna comment on why you shouldn't say that because that's the same thing as me saying, I have a black friend, I'm not racist, which we all know has been overdone on here. I don't hate you guys, I'm just being stupid with this dumb cringe jokes. And I just told them, like, just be aware next time you post something, it can affect other people in the comments. And that's the whole point of the series. It doesn't affect me, but people attacking another person's creator for their sexuality will make other people who aren't comfortable with their sexuality yet even more uncomfortable. That was a tongue twister. I hope that makes sense. Like, I know if I saw someone like Tyler Oakley on YouTube and I was looking through the comments like, oh my God, I'm so excited to see Tyler on YouTube. Like, I want to see what other people have to say. And then there's a bunch of dislikes and a lot of people saying like, F word, you know, why are you here? YouTube, what are you doing? That would have made me so much more insecure as a kid because I didn't fully accept myself yet. You see what I mean? Like, once again, Instagram has a lot of young people, YouTube has a lot of young people, so a young person trying to accept their own sexuality, seeing their favorite creator get shamed in the comments, not gonna make them feel much better. Thanks for being kind, having a chat with me, have a good day. That's it. That's it. That's all you have to do. Next up, here's my first comment. Hi there, I'm doing a series on homophobic people and wanted your input. And they're like, all right, sure. Okay, I see where this is going. So I was just telling him, like, I saw you comment something underneath the comment section on that YouTube post. I wanted to know why you did that. All they did was say gay under someone else's comment who was trying to defend me at the time, which was this comment right here. And under that, there was like a whole chain of people saying like gay, clown face, you know, vomit emoji. And then he says like, that was just a joke. Like, the word gay was a joke. It wasn't meant to be taken seriously. It may be a joke to you, but not always to them. So they said, to me, saying the word gay without any insulting intention isn't meant to be taken as something offensive. I can't talk to all the other people who said it, but I just said it to troll. It's not edgy, it's just saying gay. And you see my response. They said they haven't talked to an actual gay person about it. It's usually just triggered 14-year-old girls who misunderstand it. I'm not gonna comment on that. But they said, what do you think about making your sexuality your personality? Is there a difference? And I said, yes, there's a difference. Here's more of my response of trying to explain why gay people are so outspoken and why it may come across as our personality. That's on you if you associate someone's sexuality with their personality. The person expressing themselves might not even think that way, you just take it as that. So since this person's never met a gay nor has talked to one in their life, I had to really like dumb it down. So he took it as patriotism at first, and then he says like, is it homophobic to dislike those who are too prideful but still respect those who are gay? And I'm like, that's the same thing as saying I support gays but not F words. Be yourself, but don't be so outspoken. I don't remember this quote by heart, but it's about women, and it says, you know, be successful, but don't be so successful that you intimidate other men. Be educated, but not to the point where men feel stupid in front of you. Like, that mindset is unhealthy for that group. And then they say, so are all gay people the same no matter what? And I'm like, no, not really. But he did say, I want to understand. That's why I'm asking you, which I appreciate that. Because all we want to be is understood. I send like a very lengthy text I'm not gonna get into. You can read it. It's just a long history thing. They say, I understand everyone has their preferences and different personalities, but what do you think about the people who try to make you become gay? I don't really see that, but maybe you just came across that For You page or that culture and you think it's serious. I know there's like TikTok audios that's like, you need to stop being straight. Those are meant to be jokes, I hope y'all know. But not everyone knows that's a joke. And then they say, I understand now. I've always known that LGBTQ can be defined by how people in it act, but you're saying it is just them showing their pride. I compare it to anime because I saw he had anime on his page, and I'm like, some people hate anime, some people make fun of us for liking anime, but some people also really talk about it and make fan clubs and animations dedicated to it. And all of those aspects are valid within that community. Then they say being a part of the LGBT is like being a part of clique at school, which is no, but like, sure, whatever helps you understand faster. I can't do this all day. They say, thanks. I've always been called a homophobe for misunderstanding because of the 14-year-old girls, which I'm, once again, not gonna get into. That's another story if you just talk down to women. But they said they were 14 too, and I'm like, that's very mature of you to handle a conversation with me, not freak out, trying to be understanding, and I really appreciate that. And then he says, you brought in my perspective about this, thank you, and that's it. Then I found out he follows Lil Nas, and I'm like, to which he said, I see Montero as art. How do we get there? How does a 14-year-old grasp that already? But good for them. And then they said, now I see why that's treated as a good thing in the LGBT. That's our final conversation. So, success. Sorry, I took a break. But I'm
back, bitches.
And I don't want to
hear I'm acting different.
Okay, let's keep going. All right, next up we got this dude. I sent the same text. He goes, sure, man. And once again, I go down and I think he commented, you're crying under that same person. I was mainly looking under that same comment thread. So once a lot of people started hopping on the gay train, this person commented, you're crying. And I asked him, would you consider yourself homophobic? And he says, no, gay or not, or post about you or not, would have commented the same thing regardless of context. And then I was like, well, that context could make someone upset and overwhelmed. And they're like, I guess so, but if you're gonna comment on a post, which will obviously stir people up, you have to be ready to take whatever response comes your way. That's the internet. That is true, but I don't think you have to add to that. So I told them, like, you don't have to add fuel to the fire. And they said, yeah, that's fair, I don't have to. Guess I just got bored. And I was like, next time, just be more careful because you can potentially hurt someone. And then that was it. This was a short one. So then we have this person, same thing once again. I asked them, I want to figure out what your goal was with your comment. And the comment was, get clowned on under the thread. And they said, oh, usually in arguments like this one, I usually point out with that phrase that he's gonna get hated on hard. And I was like, I don't think your comment saying get clowned on is a warning to him. And then they go, you're good. Yes, I admit that was fuel to the fire, but after seeing the comments made, I knew I had chose the wrong side. And then I just told them, just be careful next time. They said they'll keep it in mind. Lastly, I said, would you consider yourself homophobic? They go, not entirely, but I believe a little bit of me is tainted. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. I guess they're self-aware that a little bit of them is, and they said, I am hoping to get rid of that part, so good for them. I mean, I hope you're not anymore. And then they said, keep up the style, so I felt, you're welcome. I'll keep up my grandma curtain, maybe a bad rug type of aesthetic. The next part, I don't know what the comment was, but I guess I misinterpreted it. I think they just said something about YouTube, like, I hate this, like, change your stuff. And they just said they're talking about the YouTube app, which I will admit, you need to fix that, Susan. That's the CEO, by the way. Yeah, there's some stuff I got gripes about. I'm still not over the changing of the comment section. So I just said, I misinterpreted what you said, and then they go, Lamau, and I said, carry on with life, queen, because, like, it's just how I talk, man. And then they go, okay, thank you. So well, I don't think I helped there. That was just more secondhand embarrassment for me. Next, I had this person, and the first thing they responded with was, repost if you're homophobic. No, I'm not homophobic. I said, really? And they said, I don't want to be a part of it. Never try influencing someone else, you gay. I didn't say you have to be a part of it, but I just wanted your opinion. And they said, please leave me alone, gay ass. And I was like, I can leave you alone if you stop calling me that. I do wonder though, why do you hate gay people? And he said, don't hate, everyone has the right to an opinion because we all live under the same sun. Everyone has a right to the opinion, but that doesn't mean your opinion is right, nor is it beneficial. I'm tired of people trying to say, like, I have my opinion, I have the right to it. Yeah, if your opinion is that Holocaust never happened, I don't know what to tell you, man. Go back to school, please. And yes, those people exist. And I told him, it's not necessary to bring others down and voice your opinion if it's a negative one, and if it hurts people, just do it in silence. And they said, that is a fact. Watching anime though, so goodbye, I guess. And I'm like, this is so weird to me. A lot of these people that I respond to do watch anime. I'm just thinking like, which anime is it? And I don't know much of the anime community, but is there a lot of discrimination? Well, actually, I know the answer. Yes, there is. But all I can think of is like, these are just boys hypersexualizing Asians at this point. But that's another topic. They said they're watching Demon Slayer though, and I was like, it's very ironic that you watch anime when a lot of characters are gay and popular ones. And then I started listing some and they're like, nope, I don't watch those. But he's on season 2 of Attack on Titan, which I don't know if you know, but Ymir though, I could be fetishizing lesbians. So but he tells me to please stop, and I said I would stop if you apologize for insulting me, and that's it. So yeah. Lastly, this person commented to me first, like I didn't even respond to them, because apparently my face being on YouTube's post can elicit such a visceral reaction that it requires them to actually DM me. Like they take time out of their day to DM me. And shut up, I DM people for content. They said, gay must disappear. You will be punished for your sins. If you a guy, butthole only for poop, become straight. To which I say, you follow Selena Gomez, who supports LGBTQ people. Can I ask, why do you care so much about other people? Also, while we're talking about Selena Gomez, Selena, what the fuck is in this blush? Why is it such a deep color, but it just magically blends and it's so, oh, it's so pretty. And they said, I didn't know, I'll keep following her though. And I said, that's good, she's very cool. The things above are random, but whatever. And I said, so you're just trying to troll. Just because I don't support LGBT doesn't mean I want all gay people to die. And I said, that's fair, respected. But no need to attack gay people for just existing, because I don't attack you for being homophobic. The ones that keep it to themselves are okay. I didn't attack them. And I was like, you literally... What was that then? He says, I told you they were random. I was like, is that an excuse? You think you can kill someone and say sorry if it was random? And then they go, did I say something about murder? And I said, no, you didn't, but you can essentially use that lame excuse for anything. And they're like, online violence exists too. Let's get this straight. It's not my hobby to harass LGBTQ people. And I was like, then why would you do it in the first place? And they said, it's a waste of time for me and you / them. They're using the pronouns. That's a step forward. And then I said, sometimes people will be very upset, maybe do bad things if they get lots of these comments, and they're like, I know, can we please stop? Please. And then I said, if you're not sorry, you haven't learned anything. And they go, stop texting me. Literally, if you're not sorry, you haven't learned anything. They said, stop texting me. But why can't you apologize? Is it because I'm gay? And they're like, yes, I'm homophobic. It's my opinion. So if you can't deal with it, just ignore me.
You're that girl, I knew you were.
I said, I can deal with it, but you can also say sorry for insulting someone. And I said, that is if you're mature enough. Do you really think your reverse psychology will work on me? I don't know where he's going, but whatever. I said, so you have a good day, sir. He said, K. I sent kissy faces. He said, such gay. And he just says, I don't care. And I was like, but you do care about this stuff because you're still texting me. And he says, I want you to stop texting me. That's all I want. You just keep talking. Please stop. And then I told him, like, you can block me. And then he blocked me. And that's all the homophobic people in the world. No, that's it. This isn't meant to encourage you to reach out to people and like ask them if they're homophobic. It was just for me to be trolling, but also like try to find some genuine conversations with other people, and hopefully we can find middle ground and educate them, which we did for like majority of them, I think. Not everyone's gonna appreciate you DMing them, obviously, but it's just for fun. This was all for fun. So if you enjoyed, give it a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe for more videos every week. I post every Saturday when I try to. That made literally no sense. I try to post every Saturday when I can. Social medias are right here, I think. And as always, maybe it's here. Oh God, I don't know. As always, I love you all and everything is less than 3. Be who you are.